I'm joined now by Florida Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz. He's also a member of a bipartisan task force formed by Congress in the wake of that first attempt at assassination. Congressman, first of all, your reaction to this second apparent assassination attempt on the former president just 2 months?
Thanks, Anderson. Thanks for having me. Well, I never thought in my first 2 years in Congress that I would be appointed to an assassination task force based on an attempted assassination on a former president. Little did I think that while on that task force, just 2 months from the first assassination attempt, only a month into the task force, there would be a second attempt. And so I'm deeply concerned about what's going on right now. I'm deeply concerned, quite frankly, for the former president's safety. The Secret Service has a lot to explain how an individual was able to get, again, this close to the former president.
Do you expect, first of all, your task force will now also examine this incident?
Yeah, based on the chairman's response and the ranking member, it looks like we are asking the same questions we're asking about the first assassination attempt, now about the second, asking for the FBI and the Secret Service to come in and give us a briefing and share that information. So I expect, Anderson, that it's like Groundhog Day, that we're going to be doing the same exact sort of investigation that we're doing in the first one now into the second one. And we still don't know the motive of the individual in the first assassination attempt. And so, look, I'm asking for the FBI, Secret Service, Homeland Security to come out and start sharing some of the information with the American people. You know this, Anderson. You see it on social media. On the left, people think, it was staged. On the right, people think it was the deep state. And that's because we're not sharing information with the American people. This is something we have to do. I mean, I have a lot of questions on how this individual got his firearm. In Florida, we have red flag laws here, very tough red flag laws that actually were passed in the wake of the Parkland shooting 6 years ago. I'm about a mile from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School right now, where I graduated from. And based on his previous history, he should not have been able to obtain a firearm in the state of Florida if he did get it here. And that's not clear. He may have brought it into the state. And so there are a lot of questions here, but I think the American people should be deeply concerned on why a second individual, clearly disturbed, was able to get this close to the former president with a weapon.
It is. I mean, again, I've just been surprised just in the last hours as I look at maps of the golf course to learn, that it's on several major roads and that those roads are open and the sidewalks are open and the club itself is open to, members and to their guests, even when the former president is on there. Are there specific questions you have tonight that are like first and foremost in your mind?
Well, first of all, both of these assassination attempts were outside, and they were outside in areas that were both, had a lot, were wooded. They had a lot of trees, a lot of brush. And so, the Secret Service needs to start telling us whether or not they can actually keep somebody safe in these circumstances unless they're shutting down whole areas. And if that's what we have to do, then that's what we have to do. He's a former president running for re-election again. We have to be able to keep him safe. This is getting embarrassing for the agency, and people in Congress are bewildered why we're in this situation now for a second time. And so, yeah, Anderson, I mean, I'm very concerned about, the status of the Secret Service's ability to keep the former president safe in outdoor environments. Well, I went to Butler. I could not believe how close the roof was to the stage. And not just that, but the fence line that was outside the perimeter, they just let any individual run up to the fence. And those people did not go through magnetometers. And so the protocols going on right now and the resources being committed to the former president, in my question, seem to be wholly inadequate.
We had Jonathan Wackrow on, a former Secret Service agent, who was saying that he thinks the service needs to kind of reassess the criteria that they use. That it used to be, well, it's a person's a former president, and therefore it's this level of protection, or they're a candidate for president. Donald Trump is sort of in a category of his own. I mean, he is a former president, but he's also seeking the office, and obviously has more attention than probably any former president. And so the question is, should his level be even higher already than it is now, which is higher than it was before Butler?
Yeah, well, look, I'm not a security expert, but let me give a third category. How about someone who was almost killed 2 months ago? How about that category? I mean, the idea that they haven't changed the protocols and we're still giving him the same sort of protection in these outdoor areas is unacceptable. So look, if the Secret Service now gets the point, right, and they're now going to change their protocols, well, congratulations, but it should have happened after the first attempt 2 months ago.
You know, have you heard from other of your colleagues in Congress tonight on either side of the aisle? I mean, I assume they're kind of saying all the same things.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously there are people who want to politicize this, you know, for political gain, which I caution against. But yes, I've talked to members of both parties, and people just don't get it. They don't understand how we're in this situation for a second time. It is shaking the confidence, quite frankly, in our institutions. And that is something that's hard to explain to the American people, which is why I think the FBI and the Secret Service need to start having weekly briefings of information, trying to share what they know in both investigations with the American people to try to restore that faith. That's really what the task force is trying to do on a bipartisan basis. We're trying to restore faith in our institutions by getting to the bottom of what happened and sharing that information. I saw Governor DeSantis announce earlier today that he is going to have the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, I believe, conduct their own investigation. That's only warranted because, quite frankly, our national the FBI and the Secret Service aren't sharing the information that the American people are craving on the first assassination attempt, let alone seeing a second one. We have seen mass shootings in this country become normalized, and it's unacceptable. Now we're going to have political violence become normalized. I mean, we have to, on a bipartisan basis, Democrats and Republicans, make sure that we speak together on this. That the Secret Service and the FBI have to make sure that they keep former President Trump safe.
You're saying that you want the FBI, Secret Service, you know, to the public to be more public-facing with the information they have and updates. Have they been cooperative enough, in your estimation, with your committee?
Yes, with our committee, they've been cooperative. We're getting briefings, we're getting classified briefings, but that's not to the American public. I understand the investigation is still going on, and I understand protocol as usual is, hey, we don't share information until the investigation is concluded. But these are extraordinary circumstances. We've never seen this. 2 assassination attempts in 62 days. And so this is going to require some out-of-the-box thinking. And in order, in my opinion, to restore faith in the institutions, they have to start sharing information with the American people. We can't allow there to be vacuums. When there's vacuums, right, we see misinformation start to fill, and we see politicization of the process.
Yeah. Congressman Jared Moskowitz, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Anderson.